listen to me. Life will test you. It will break your heart, shake your confidence, and strip you down to who you really are. And in that moment, when everything falls apart, you will face a choice. You can surrender to the pain, or you can become the person that pain was trying to build. Strength isn't given to you. It's earned. It's forged. It's chosen. Every single day, strength is not a gift handed to you at birth. It's a choice you make in the moments when everything feels impossible. The truth is, no one is born mentally strong. You become strong through the choices you make when life tests you. Through the moments that challenge your patience, break your plans, and force you to see what you're really made of. Every time you face adversity, you stand at a crossroads. One path leads to giving up, and the other leads to growth. Mentally strong people consistently choose the harder path, not because it's comfortable, but because it shapes them into something greater. Strength is not about what happens to you. It's about what you decide to do about it. Everyone experiences pain, disappointment, and failure. But mentally strong people understand that pain is not the enemy. It's the teacher. They don't waste time asking, why me? Instead, they ask, what now? What can I learn from this? That shift in perspective transforms hardship into power. It turns wounds into wisdom. When you choose strength, you stop being a victim of circumstance and start being the author of your own story. This choice doesn't happen once. It happens every day. You choose strength when you wake up early even though you're tired. You choose it when you take responsibility instead of blaming others. You choose it when you face your fears head on, knowing it might hurt, but also knowing it's worth it. Strength is not built in comfort. It's built in discomfort. Every time you push through, every time you show up when it's hard, you add another layer of resilience to who you are. The misconception is that strong people feel no pain or fear. But in reality, mentally strong people feel everything. They just refuse to let those emotions control them. They understand that waiting to feel ready or confident is a trap. If you wait for the perfect moment, you'll wait forever. The strongest people act even when they're scared. They move forward while afraid because courage is not the absence of fear. It's action in spite of it. That's what makes them different. When you choose strength, you take ownership of your life. You no longer let others define your worth or your path. You stop saying, I can't, and start saying, I will find a way. That mindset shift creates power. It means you take responsibility for your growth, your happiness, and your results. Life will always throw challenges your way, but the person who has chosen strength doesn't crumble under pressure. They adapt, they learn, they grow stronger from the struggle. At its core, being mentally strong means deciding to rise again and again, no matter how many times you've fallen. It's about persistence, discipline, and faith in your ability to rebuild. Strength is a daily decision, not a destination. Every time you choose to get back up, to try again, to believe in yourself when no one else does, you are proving that strength is not something you find. It's something you create, one brave choice at a time. One of the most powerful traits of mentally strong people is their ability to focus on what they can control and release what they cannot. It sounds simple, but it is one of the hardest disciplines to master. Most people spend an enormous amount of time and emotional energy worrying about things completely outside their influence. The opinions of others, the outcome of every situation, the uncertainty of the future, this constant need for control becomes exhausting because it gives your power away. Mentally strong people understand that peace and power come from directing their energy inward, not outward. They know that life will always have chaos, unpredictability, and things that go wrong, but what defines them is how they respond to it. When you try to control everything, you live in a state of tension and frustration. You try to force outcomes, manipulate situations, or convince people to see your way. And when they don't, you feel defeated. But the truth is, Most of what happens around you is beyond your control. You can't control how someone treats you. You can't control every obstacle that comes your way. What you can control is how you respond, how you prepare, and how you move forward. Mentally strong people take ownership of their choices and emotions, refusing to let external circumstances dictate their internal state. This mindset doesn't mean you stop caring or give up on influencing outcomes. It means you stop wasting energy on what is truly outside your reach. Instead of trying to control the uncontrollable, mentally strong people focus on their habits, their reactions, and their mindset. They replace worry with action and fear with preparation. They know that by improving themselves, they automatically improve how they handle life's uncertainties. They channel energy where it counts into effort, focus, and personal growth. Learning to release control is also an act of humility and wisdom. It means accepting that life will never go exactly as planned. There will be setbacks, delays, and disappointments. But mentally strong people don't break when things don't go their way. They adapt. They understand that flexibility is not weakness, it's strength. When one path closes, they don't waste time staring at the closed door. They start looking for another route. They control their mindset, and that gives them freedom in every situation. This habit creates emotional balance. When you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you stop overreacting to every challenge. You begin to respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively. You stop taking everything personally. You learn to breathe, pause, and act from clarity instead of chaos. The mentally strong person is not unbothered because life is easy. They are calm because they have trained their mind to focus only on what truly matters. At its core, controlling what you can and letting go of what you can't is about reclaiming your power. It's about no longer giving your peace to things you cannot change. When you master this, you become unshakable. The world can be unpredictable, people can be unreliable, but you remain steady because your strength no longer depends on external stability. It comes from within. That is the quiet power of the mentally strong. Discipline is the foundation upon which all mental strength is built. It is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Most people wait for motivation to strike before they take action, but mentally strong people understand that motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Discipline, however, is constant. It's the voice inside that says, I don't want to, but I will. It's the daily decision to show up, to follow through, and to honor your commitments, especially when it's uncomfortable. That is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Comfort is seductive. It convinces you to stay where you are, to take the easy path, to delay the hard work for tomorrow. But comfort never leads to growth. Every time you choose comfort over discipline, you reinforce weakness. Every time you push through resistance and do the hard thing, you reinforce strength. Mentally strong people don't chase what feels good in the moment. They chase what builds long-term purpose and progress. They understand that every act of discipline, no matter how small, compounds over time into something extraordinary. Discipline is not punishment, it is self-respect. It's how you prove to yourself that your word means something. When you say you'll do something and you follow through, you build trust in yourself. That self-trust becomes the foundation for confidence. Confidence doesn't come from talent or luck. It comes from knowing you can rely on yourself to do what's necessary, no matter how you feel. Mentally strong people keep their promises to themselves. They don't negotiate with excuses, and they don't let temporary emotions make permanent decisions. Discipline also creates freedom. That might sound like a contradiction, but it's not. When you're disciplined, you control your time, your habits, and your energy. You no longer live at the mercy of distractions or impulses. You don't have to rely on external motivation because you've trained yourself to take action regardless of mood. That's real power, to act with purpose, not permission. Mentally strong people live by routines that keep them grounded. They set boundaries that protect their focus. They understand that success is not a one-time event. It's a daily practice of doing the right thing over and over again. The path of discipline is not glamorous. It's waking up early when no one's watching. It's saying no when temptation says yes. It's showing up on the days when progress feels invisible. But those are the exact moments when mental strength is built. The world often sees the outcome, the success, the confidence, the resilience, but not the countless disciplined choices that made it possible. Discipline is invisible to others, but undeniable to yourself. Ultimately, discipline over comfort is about who you want to become. Every decision you make is a vote for the person you're building. The question is simple. Do you want to be the version of yourself that gives in to feelings, or the one that follows through on purpose? Mentally strong people know that comfort is temporary, but pride and self-mastery lasts forever. Discipline doesn't make life easier. It makes you stronger. And that strength is what allows you to create a life that comfort never could. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions a person can experience. It can stop you before you even begin, paralyze you in moments of decision, and convince you to stay where it feels safe. But mentally strong people understand something that most do not. Fear is not the enemy. It is information. It's a signal from your mind that you are stepping outside of what's familiar, that you are entering territory where growth is possible. The difference between those who move forward and those who stay stuck is not the absence of fear, but the ability to interpret it correctly. Most people allow fear to control their lives without even realizing it. They make choices based on what feels safe instead of what feels right. They talk themselves out of opportunities, relationships, and dreams because fear whispers, what if you fail? What if you're not good enough? But mentally strong people listen to that voice differently. When fear speaks, they don't run away. They get curious. They ask themselves, what is this fear trying to tell me? What am I afraid of losing? And why does it matter so much? That reflection transforms fear from an obstacle into a guide. When you see fear as information, you stop giving it power over you. You start to understand that fear often points towards something important. A goal that matters deeply, a truth that's hard to face, a challenge that will make you stronger. Mentally strong people use fear as a compass. If something scares them but aligns with their values, they take it as a sign to move closer, not farther away. Because they know that growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone, it happens in the space between fear and courage. This doesn't mean fear goes away. It never fully does. It simply changes its role in your life. Instead of being a wall, it becomes a signal. The key is not to eliminate fear, but to move forward in spite of it, every time you act while afraid. Whether it's speaking your truth, taking a risk, or standing up for yourself, you weaken fear's grip and strengthen your own resolve. That's how confidence is built, through repeated acts of courage, not through waiting for the fear to disappear. Mentally strong people also know that fear can disguise itself as logic. It pretends to protect you by making excuses. It's not the right time. I'll do it later. I'm just being realistic. But behind every excuse is often fear wearing a mask. Recognizing that pattern is the first step to breaking it. When you learn to see through fear's disguise, you stop letting it dictate your destiny. Fear will always exist where growth exists. It's the price you pay for becoming more than who you were yesterday. The goal is not to be fearless. That's impossible. The goal is to act fearfully but deliberately, to acknowledge the fear and keep moving anyway. That's what mentally strong people do. They walk through the fire instead of avoiding it, and in doing so, they discover that fear was never there to stop them. It was there to show them what they were capable of all along. Resilience is not built when life is easy or when things go according to plan. It is built in silence, in the moments when no one sees your effort, when no one claps for you, and when no one even knows you're struggling. Mentally strong people understand that true growth happens behind the scenes, in solitude, in the quiet hours when you're fighting battles no one else can fight for you. It's in those unseen moments that your inner strength takes shape. Resilience doesn't come from success. It comes from persistence. It's not the applause that builds you. It's the repetition, the discipline, the decision to get back up one more time than you fall. Most people associate strength with what they can see: achievement, confidence, and control. But real strength isn't loud. It doesn't demand attention. It's calm, steady, and unshakable. It's choosing to keep going when you're exhausted, when you doubt yourself, and when everything inside you screams to quit. Mentally strong people know that life will not always reward their effort right away, but they don't stop. They trust that consistency in the dark will eventually lead to light. They understand that results take time, but resilience is built instantly, the moment you choose to endure rather than escape. The quiet work you do when no one's watching is what determines your strength when everyone is. It's easy to look composed in public, but the real test of strength is how you act in private when things fall apart. Do you sit in your pain and grow from it, or do you let it define you? Mentally strong people allow pain to shape them, not shatter them. They use solitude to rebuild, to reflect, and to realign with their purpose. They don't chase validation from others because they've learned that the deepest validation comes from within, from knowing you did the work, even when no one noticed. Resilience is also about acceptance, accepting that life will bring setbacks, betrayal, and loss, but refusing to let those experiences harden your heart or destroy your hope. Mentally strong people feel their emotions deeply, but they don't let those emotions dictate their future. They allow themselves to grieve, to process, and then to move forward with wisdom. Every challenge becomes a lesson. Every disappointment becomes direction. They don't see failure as an end. They see it as feedback. The beauty of resilience built in silence is that it prepares you for anything. When life hits you again, and you no longer break the same way, you've already learned how to rebuild. You've already learned that strength is not about avoiding pain, but surviving it with your integrity intact. Mentally strong people carry that quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need to prove anything because they've already proven it to themselves. In the end, resilience built in silence is what allows you to rise after every fall. It's not about being unbreakable. It's about being unrelenting. You may bend, you may stumble, but you don't stay down. That's the essence of mental strength, standing back up quietly, determinedly, again and again, until the struggle that once threatened to destroy you becomes the reason you are unshakable.